All right, the honey on the chicken.
It's the way to do it, huh?
I don't know if I said this on our show before, but that chicken is slap your mama good. My name is Stephen Bardo, former Flying Illini and NBA point guard turned basketball analyst. I have traveled the world through basketball, and the one thing I have found is everyone loves food and sports.
Riddle me this, riddle me that. How many hits do we relapse? I come the same Bardo, nice to meet you, not a pre.
What's up, y'all? It's your man, Stephen Bardo. Season 2 is finally here. I know y'all been waiting a long time. We got some great restaurants coming for you. We're gonna start on North Lincoln Avenue today. Luella's Southern Kitchen. I know we've done a few restaurants like this, but let's see if Luella's Southern Kitchen matches up with, say, Big Jones in Andersonville, or even Soleil on West Chicago Avenue. Can't wait for season 2. Let's go check it out.
And my foot down. Tell me how it look now. I say, looking at my Mueller, it's about that time. It's still up from shit, so don't be shook now. Like now, 16 bars trying to get to the stars. So when I'm stopped by the laws while defending the cause, I walk it off. I walk it off. Yeah, say walk it off. Saying fuck pay dues, steady breaking the rules. Cause you can't make moves till you breaking the shoes, so walk it off. I say walk it off. Nigga, just walk it off.
Lay my foot down. Tell me how it look now. Tell me how it look now.
Coach,
Steve,
appreciate it, man. Appreciate you joining me.
you're nice to see you.
Coach Dean Cooper, assistant coach of the Chicago Bulls, here to join us on America Loves Food and Sports, episode 1, season 2. Coach, thanks so much, man. I really appreciate you joining.
Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, this is great. We get to try this great food. We're gonna bring in Tyrus Bell. Tyrus is the manager here at Luella's. You wanna come in, Tyrus, and share with what we're gonna enjoy here?
Tyrus?
This is Tyrus. Tyrus Bell, thank you. Thank you.
We have a variety of things for you. We have beignets that we serve for our dessert here at Luella's. We have shrimp and grits. We have our jerk mac and cheese and our fried chicken served with collard greens and smoked honey.
Okay. Now, what's the most popular dish here, Tyrus?
Fried chicken.
Really?
Yeah, the fried chicken is definitely the most popular dish.
Okay. And then, where does the name Luella's come from?
So Luella is me and Darnell. He's the chef and owner here as well. Both for us. This is our great grandmother. The name comes from.
Great grandmother?
Yeah, the name comes from my great grandmother.
Okay. Where's she from?
She's from Mississippi. She's from Greenwood, Mississippi.
Okay. So are these recipes Greenwood, Mississippi inspired, or?
Yeah, it's definitely inspired by her. Most of all the recipes that we have on the menu is from Darnell.
Okay.
It's definitely inspired by Luella.
Okay. So which one should we try first?
Oh, you got to dig in fried chicken.
Fried chicken first. Okay. All right. Well, that's
I've
an
heard
easy
worse.
choice, man.
I've heard worse things.
Yeah. Okay.
And the collard greens is ham hocks inside, and the smoked honey you definitely should drizzle on top of the fried chicken.
Oh my gosh. All right. So, Coach and I are about to get full here. It's called loosening up your belt buckle, but let's see how we get down here. But Coach, go ahead. I'm gonna let you start out whichever way you want to go. I think I'm gonna try this green.
I'm gonna put them both on there at the same time. And
Okay.
Go from there.
Are you gonna go from there like that? Yeah. Okay, I like that. Let's try this.
So the collard greens we braise overnight.
Here, that's
The
kind of
fried
warm.
chicken we brine for 7 hours, and we put it in buttermilk marinade after. So it was brined 2 times.
Butter, wait. Say it again, Tyrus.
Buttermilk marinade after we brine it for 7 hours.
Wow.
And then the smoked honey we make here as well. We smoke the honey, so we gotta drizzle that on the chicken.
So this is, you see this honey now, right? Coach, you want me to give you an assist or you want to try it yourself?
Give me an assist since you were good at that.
All right.
And
All
I
right.
wasn't.
Oh, yes you were. I'm sure you were. All right, so let's see here. Let me not waste any of this good honey. I'll do it like that. There we go. Okay.
How do you smoke the honey?
So we have a smoker in back that we actually smoke the honey. We leave it in there.
Great question.
Yeah.
Great question. All right, Coach, let's try. Let's check it out.
Let's do it. All right.
All right, the honey on the chicken.
It's the way to do it, huh?
I don't know if I said this on our show before, but that chicken is slap your mama good. That is some good
Wow.
chicken right there. It's pretty good, isn't it?
That's really good.
Yeah.
And that smoked honey
Yeah.
Oh, sets it off.
Yeah.
Sets it off with the taste.
takes it to the next level.
Okay.
Wow. So, Coach, with Coach Dean Cooper again, Chicago Bulls assistant. Coach, where you share with our viewers where you're from originally?
Well, I grew up in Michigan, just outside of Grand Rapids, so on the west side of the state, Big Ten country.
There you go. There you go. Familiar.
So grew up there, lived there until I was 25 or 6. Started coaching high school basketball and college basketball, and then that's what eventually moved me to these other places. But that's where I grew up, not far outside of Grand Rapids. If people are familiar with Gus Macker, that was sort of the original where it started.
3-on-3.
3-on-3.
Yes, sir.
Street basketball. So
Yep.
I grew up in a town of 4,500 people, and in Gus Macker we would have 5,200 teams of 4. So imagine,
Wait. Run those numbers back again.
So our town was 4,500.
Right.
But during Gus Macker weekend in July, we would have 5,200 teams of 4. And of course, some of those teams are from Belding, but most of those teams are from elsewhere. So you can imagine over the course of a weekend, just in teams, not including visitors, we were quadrupling our population of our city.
Wow.
And the estimates were over the 3 days. It was the longest one because it went from Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, it did go through Sunday.
Yeah, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it was the longest one.
Okay.
And then they would estimate that we would have somewhere between 125,000 and 150,000 visitors in those 3 days.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's too bad. The Gus Macker is still not going.
It is going. So the biggest one now is actually in Ludington,
Okay.
which is on the beach, and they do it like 1 block off the beach.
That's
So
pretty
the
smart.
one in Belding has like kind of dissipated.
Okay.
A lot of it has dissipated because these other tournaments have gotten more popular and things like that, but I still have it. But the most popular one is in Ludington, which is on the west coast of Michigan. Like I said, like a block off the beach.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you, Coach, again, Coach Dean Cooper, assistant with the Chicago Bulls. Coach, you got a fascinating story in terms of your exposure in the game and how you've moved up the ranks. Can you share some of that with us, like, the different stages of where you've been?
Yeah. So, can I do it after I try this mac
Go
and
ahead,
cheese?
man.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, let's try.
I gotta try the mac and cheese.
Fixated on the chicken.
Yeah, I know.
That's a good call there. Sure.
Otherwise, I won't be able. Wow. I was going to say otherwise I won't be able to concentrate on my story, but now that I've had it, maybe I won't be able to
Oh,
concentrate.
man. This is jerk macaroni and cheese. Tyrus, tell us about this, please.
So the mac and cheese that we have, we switch it up every 3 months. Right now we have the jerk chicken mac and cheese. We smoke the jerk chicken in the back. We have a smoker. That's a 5 cheese mac and cheese that you're eating right there. And we sprinkle breadcrumbs on top. So you're getting a lot of flavors as well.
Man.
Yeah, I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, we're already enjoying it. Thank you. Man, I've never had jerk macaroni and cheese, but I'm gonna have it again after today. That is excellent. That's excellent. Well, go ahead, Coach. Tell us about your background.
First and foremost, I've been really fortunate through my journey, so to speak. I started out coaching high school in Belding, and then went to a school just outside of Grand Rapids, a little bit bigger school, Caledonia. I got my first college job at an NAI school, Aquinas College in Grand Rapids, and from there I went to the University of Buffalo, which is a Division I school. And at the time, they were getting ready to go in the Mid-American Conference. They were in a different conference, and they were getting ready to go in the Mid-American. So a couple things happened. I was familiar with motion offense, which they wanted somebody, because I had been around Indiana a lot early in my career.
Okay.
And then the Michigan recruiting ties and those things. And when I worked at Aquinas, Jim Boylan, who's now the head coach of the Bulls, his high school coach took over the job at Aquinas. That's how I got hired.
Okay.
So in that process, I got to know Jim after the season and things. So I had gone to visit the Rockets, and then, long story short, I get this random call in 1999.
Isn't that how it works?
And and Rudy asked me if I wanted to. Rudy Tomjanovich,
legendary NBA coach for you youngins out there. University of Michigan All-American, had a great NBA career. I believe he was a better NBA coach than I think he was a player.
Yeah, and he was a 5-time All-Star, so that's that's saying a lot.
That's saying a lot.
Yeah,
but go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. So I went to luck would have it. I went there as a video coordinator / scout my first 2 years, and then I went to the bench, in front of the bench. And then Rudy got sick.
I remember that.
Yeah, with kidney cancer.
Yep.
So he stepped away, and then I moved over to the personnel side. So I spent 5 years there. I was very fortunate that we had a small group, and we had guys that took it as a very family atmosphere.
Sure.
It was a lot different than today's NBA. 20 years ago, today, now the staffs are big.
Much bigger, right? With player development guys.
We literally had like 9 people in our building in the practice facility. Now there's, 9 it's totally different.
Sure.
And that included the secretaries and everybody. So the general manager brought me and myself and Melvin Hunt, who's assistant for Atlanta now, over to the personnel side. And eventually I worked my way up to I was assistant GM. And then Randy Whitman called me. And
Indiana great.
Yeah. And he was coaching at Minnesota in 2008 and asked me if I wanted to come back to the coaching side. And it was a tough decision because we were winning 53, 4, 5, 6 games a year. And I had a good gig, but I really liked Whit, and I thought it was a good opportunity. So now I've been on the coaching side ever since. And then everything goes full circle, and Jim Boylan becomes the head coach of the Bulls. And I end up here, and I had a few stops in between. Portland and Minnesota and Utah. Was fortunate enough to after a lot of years, be my own head coach in the G League after being an assistant for basically my life.
Sure. So what you're seeing, in my opinion, is Coach has touched every aspect of the game. So he's coached high school, he's coached college. He's coached at the NBA level. He's been in the player personnel department. He's been in the GM level. Now he's back on the bench again. So Dean Cooper has touched every aspect of the game. And so what you're getting a chance to see in this episode is the backbone that makes the NBA. These are the guys that are really out there doing the work. They have the experience. They work with the players. They're liaisons between the players and the coaches. He's been in personnel. He's been an assistant GM. And so when you see guys like Coach Cooper, this is the fabric of the NBA. We see the coaches, the head coaches, and the stars, but this is the fabric of what makes up the great game that is the NBA today. Speaking of the great game that it is today, in my opinion, Coach, the playoffs this year have been as best that I've seen in the last 10 years. What do you think about that?
I think it's been a really, really good playoff season thus far, and we're only through the semifinals. We're getting tonight or whatever, and next day or so we're getting ready to start, or tonight I guess. for today. I'm not, with this episode, but getting ready for both the conference finals to start, and it's been a great playoff season. With some of even the early round games.
Yes.
Yeah,
Golden State, Clippers.
Yeah, absolutely. They're good. The teams that you would expect to sort of come out of those rounds came out of those rounds, but the teams that were the lower seeds, they gave the battle and hung in there and showed that they're kind of on the rise and moving forward and things like that. So I think it's been really good thus far. And a couple of those game sevens, that we witnessed over the weekend, and where it's going to go from here, I think it's going to be just really compelling for the league, and young stars coming along, too. Some guys asserting themselves.
That's right.
And stepping up. So that's always exciting.
And it's interesting because a team like Houston was trying to break through, and they weren't able to break through for whatever reason. And there's been a lot of criticism about the way they play. I don't necessarily have a problem with the way they play. I don't know what their piece is to get over the hump, but when you work for so many different organizations like you have those relationships there. Do you kind of hurt for those guys when they're in that situation and they don't kind of come through, maybe?
Yeah, I think there's always a level of, I was with the Rockets for a long time, 11 years total, because I was there twice.
Oh, that's right. You had two different stints.
Yeah, two stints.
Right.
So there's for me, that in particular is a paternal. It was my first place.
Sure.
Rudy is like my, second father.
Sure.
Even though he's not there, there's the paternal thing. But just as coaches, like you understand the agony of what those guys are going through when it doesn't go their way. So, and I'm not the kind of person, like, I don't root against people unless we happen to be playing them that night.
I understand.
So, it's agonizing, and it's so, whether the style or whatever, I'll give you just a short story. So early on in my career, my first or second year on the bench, we were playing the Clippers, and it was my scout, Eric Piatkowski, was playing. They used to run the sacks in the hawk cut.
Yep.
And I won't name our player, but I had told them multiple times, like, okay, they're going to get a layup. We got to be careful. And it got late in the game, and there was a timeout, and I reminded them of it. And we gave up a layup because we didn't play it the right way, and we lost in overtime. And I was a young coach, and so after the game, we were leaving for Seattle, flying to the next city. And I was on the plane, and I was distraught. And Rudy, in his ultimate wisdom, said some words that I've used all the time, and it's so true.
Okay.
And because you played, he said, "Coop, you got to let go of it." He said, "People have no idea how hard it is to win one
game,
one NBA game.
That's right.
One game, let alone win 55 or 60, and then close out teams in the playoffs."
Yep.
And all that stuff is, and players, when they're young, don't understand it. You got to go through it. Yep. As Rudy would say, you got to go through the pain of what that feels like. And at the time when he said it, I thought, okay, that makes sense. But the longer you're in it, the more sense it makes.
Sure. Sure.
It's like the stuff your parents used to tell you
Oh,
when you were a kid.
And then it kicks in when you get older.
It starts kicking in. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So we talked about your experience as a GM and player personnel, but you were a head coach of the D League as well.
Yeah.
A couple of franchises, correct? Mm-hmm. How is that experience with the Windy City Bulls? And I believe you.
No, with the Jazz.
With the Jazz
affiliate, but we changed cities inside of that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we changed cities.
How does the experience at the G League? Because I spent some time in the old CBA, and I came across some of the best coaches and people, and some players that kind of got overlooked or whatever was wrong off the court, but some guys who were really talented. Can you share some of your experiences in the G League as a head coach?
Yeah, it's obviously, there's a different dynamic to it because
use your spoon.
Absolutely.
Get
some guys have been there. Some guys are there, but they've been in the league. They've had a cup of coffee or a year or two, and they're trying to make their way back.
Yep.
And it's a little bit different now than, in the era, like kind of because the CBA, now the teams are affiliated. So
right.
There's a slight difference. But, for me, it was, I had been in the NBA for 15 years before I did that. So, I felt, but again, as an assistant. So my entire career, I had been an assistant, college, the NBA, whatever. So a chance to sort of try to use for me personally, use some tools. It's good, right?
Oh, man.
Should I try this before I finish this story?
Go ahead. Go ahead, try that.
All right.
I shouldn't have gave it away.
I know you.
I didn't want to give it away.
Look on your face.
I tried to do a poker face, but I couldn't do it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no wonder you didn't make it through. That's really good.
And the thing about the dishes that we tried here at Luella's, we haven't done the beignets yet. That's the dessert. We're going to kill that, right? What I'm noticing is very flavorful, but it's not overpowering. There's some sauce here in the shrimp and grits. I'm sweating a little bit, so it does have some heat, which is good, but it's not overpowering. You haven't seen me suck down the drink or the water because it's too much. Very well seasoned. Food has a very good feel to it. All right, go ahead.
Okay, and he's absolutely right. There is a little heat, but it's perfect. So, down there, no matter what you do as a coach, you're always trying to. The NBA is a players' league. You're always trying to. Down there, in the G League now, you're trying to help them establish a career or get to a more stable financial place and play on a bigger stage. And for some guys, it's in the NBA, and for some guys, it's not. It's a really good European team, whatever. The trick is, so my second year I was a coach, we led the league in call-ups. So we had 6 or 7 call-ups, 3 of them within 5 days. So what happens down there is you kind of get on a roll. We were obviously rolling, and then 3 of your guys
Best
are
players,
gone.
right.
Yeah, and so now you gotta. So every day you're adjusting, which is different than the NBA. And you played in the CBA, so you're familiar with the roster turnover, and you also played in the NBA. So that's something. But your main job is to get the players to understand you're there to help them get to where they want to go, and also try to get them to do it inside of a team context, and guys not just trying to do their own thing and get their numbers and stuff like that. So it's definitely a balancing act, but through all of that, and I've worked for and with great coaches, Rudy Tomjanovich, Randy Whitman, Kevin McHale, Rick Adelman, Jeff Van Gundy, Nate McMillan. So I've been worked with directly and around, and and all of that. No slight to any of them. The 3 years that I had to go through that were infinitely more other than the 15 that I didn't, or 8, 17, what it is, or because I always tell my assistants there's a difference between suggestions and decisions. So it was really a thing for me, and trying to help them, and I was fortunate, the 3 years, we had good dudes, and, we had a good environment, and they made it easy for me to, come and help them every day.
Okay. This is Coach Dean Cooper, assistant coach of the Chicago Bulls, and we're at Luella's Southern Kitchen, enjoying this great food. We've had the fried chicken and greens, and I'm getting some more greens while I'm sitting here thinking about it. You want any more, Coach?
No, I'm going to try this jerk mac and cheese some more.
Yeah, man, it's all good, seriously, and I'm not just saying that. The decor in here is Ernie Barnes. He's a very popular African-American art, and so this one is actually my parents' home. They've got about 3. My parents have about 3 of these, Coach, but Luella's here has, it looks like 7 or 8 of these pieces, and so this gives it a southern feel in the decor in here, along with this seriously good food, man. So let's try this beignet.
Partake.
See, I'm just gonna do it with my fingers.
All right,
man.
there you go. Well, it didn't disappoint.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Just like the rest of it.
Upright.
Outstanding.
Perfect. Well, Coach, as I Vince, this tasty beignet. Thank you so much, man, for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
This is Dean Cooper, assistant coach of the Chicago Bulls. I've got my mouth full. Thank you to Tyrus Bell, manager here at Luella's. You guys, as they say in the South, you put your foot in this. I know you heard your great grandmother say that before, right? Yeah, you put your foot in this. This is excellent. So thank you. Well, y'all see, I still got my belt on, but barely, man. That food was slamming. Thank you to Tyrus Bell, the general manager here at Luella's Southern Kitchen. Really appreciate you having us through, man. It was great. If you're in Chicago or if you're visiting, make sure you come up to 4609 North Lincoln Avenue, Luella's Southern Kitchen. The jerk macaroni and cheese was off the chain. Smoked honey, y'all. They smoked the honey here. And then you put it on the chicken. It was outstanding. Everything we had was great, and we ended with the beignets that made you think you were in the French Quarter in New Orleans. So come up north, check out Luella's Southern Kitchen. This is episode 1 of season 2, y'all. We're about to get it in. Until next time, holla!